since the election, I've been working every day to put the world at ease a little bit, to get rid of the wars. We had no wars when I left office, and now...
Yeah, that's because COVID had shut the entire world down, but we were still in Afghanistan, and we still had troops in Syria, and like, what are you talking about? We don't have any wars now. We don't. America, we're engaged in like peacekeeping stuff or whatever, but we don't have a declared war. After Afghanistan, we're out. That was still going on.
Now it's the whole world is blowing up.
It is. That must be the light over the world that you're seeing.
But there's great optimism, and
yeah. Anytime the world is completely blowing up, there's optimism. The nukes will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom.
So that by SoftBank, starting on day one, we'll...
Yeah, the world's blowing up and people are dying at a level no one's ever seen before. But hey, SoftBank, give it up. $100 billion. We got a $36 trillion debt and a $29 trillion economy, but $100 billion. Thanks for your drop in the bucket, buddy. The money you would have put in anyways, because where the fuck you gonna put it? China?
Implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Never go full prosperity. Yeah.
To be a moron.
Yeah.
To be a moron. To be moronical. An imbecile. Like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
Never go full prosperity.
And to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we
already have that.
We had just a short time ago.
Yeah, middle of COVID.
We had it in my time. We had the greatest economy that the world had seen. We were blowing away everybody. Our country was...
Yeah, we still are. We have been the top economy forever. And even the idea that China was at our... nipping at our heels was an illusion, stupid.
Doubling up on China, doubling up on everybody, and everybody knows it.
No, we're doubling up on China. China was collapsing, and people were finally realizing that their economy is not $18 trillion. It's closer to $6. Thanks, Joe Biden.
And then we had to slow it down with COVID, unfortunately, at the end.
Yeah, you had to downshift.
But even then, I gave it back with a... substantial increase of the stock market, bigger than it was pre-COVID, so it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, what's it like now compared to when you left? Pretty amazing.
Already preparations are underway to slash massive numbers of job-killing regulations, eliminating
yeah, you got to eliminate them.
Eliminating 10 old regulations for every new one. You put a new regulation on, you have to get rid of 10.
Okay, yeah, sure. So if if a nut on a crossbeam bracing angle stint has a 3/4 inch bolt, and that's been the thing. We're gonna change that to we got to upgrade it to a 4/5. Then we're gonna have to kill a bunch of regulations that keep trains full of toxic chemicals from flying through Indiana without any brakes. Thank God. Well, we had to change the regulation on the size of that bolt, so we got to kill a bunch of other things, and that just means some lead in your water. What do you want? There's a regulation we have to check to make sure that there's not fecal material in new syringes that are sold to doctors. So we scrapped that one because we had to change the thing on the 4/5 nut, right?
And we'll be able to do it. And that was about the percentage we had.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Cut more regulations than any president has ever cut by far.
Yeah, and then we had a giant pandemic, and we had more deaths than anybody but China, and yet we had trains crashing into rural communities full of toxic chemicals. You don't think that's related? You cut a couple regulations, and then months or years later, the bill comes due. Doesn't occur to you? No?
Actually, by approximately 5 times. Some of those regulations, unfortunately, were put back on, but...
Yes, they put 90% of regulations that we have on during the Biden administration. For example, like the regulation where you can't unless you. There's a no. It is. It's a regulation where if you do something, you can't unless you do something first, right? No, if you do that at all, you can't do it anymore. No, if you do it before you do the other thing, then you have to pay a fine if they find out you did the thing before it and it fails, but only if it fails in certain situations. I see. Gotcha. Okay. That regulation, yeah, Biden was really adamant about putting that one back in.
We'll catch up very quickly. We'll catch up with it.
Because it's all fantasy. Again, this is like, as soon as we get in, we're going to get rid of 10 million migrants right away. How? We'll stop pretending they're here. You know how I said there were 20? There's actually 10. Ta-da! Look, I cut the number in half. Trump math, everyone.
One of the things I'd like to ask the Biden administration, as you probably heard,
is did you take out the Diet Coke button or did you reprogram it to vanilla ice cream?
There are two events that took place. We're talking about a friendly takeover, a friendly transition, as they like to say. This is a friendly transition, and it is, but
no, a peaceful transition. The friendly part isn't necessary.
There are two events that took place that I think are very terrible. One is that if people don't come back to work, come back into the office, they're going to be dismissed. And somebody in the Biden administration gave a 5-year waiver of that so that for 5 years people don't have to come back into the office. It involved 49,000 people. For 5 years, they don't have to go. They just signed this thing. It's ridiculous.
Okay, like what? What's their job? I mean, the federal workforce got millions of people in it, so 49,000. They must be in one particular thing. You know what? Stupid me, I can probably look it up. Let's see. Biden waiver work from home 5 years. Something like that? What do you think? Think I could probably find it? Trump will fight Biden remote work deal. Union vows to fight back. Trump plans to fire federal workers who won't work from home. Key unions fight back. Biden secures federal work from home deal through 2029. That's what this part is. Look, so here we go. Biden secures federal work from home deal through 2029. The Biden administration has reached a new agreement with federal employees unions. The agreement will preserve existing telework agreements until 2029. Reports the deal impacts some shit. Get down here. What are you doing? Social Security Administration has concluded a significant agreement. The agreement will preserve existing telework agreements until 2029. So it's for Social Security Administration. Reports the deal impacts some 42,000 SSA employees, creating a long-term foundation for remote work standards. The contract was executed before former SSA Commissioner Martin O'Malley's exit. It delineates safeguards for remote work agreements that will last several years. These provisions will persist irrespective of alterations in agency leadership. Union leadership considers this agreement an essential instrument preserving staffing numbers. The contract seems to mitigate elevated employee turnover by ensuring stability in employment arrangements, because they have to hire. If everybody has to come into an office, they have a hard time recruiting people, but they can semi-out. This is basically the semi-contracting out of people who will work from home, especially when it's fucking computer work. So it's a bunch of Social Security number crunchers can work from home. Why do they have to be in the office in the first place? Here's the big question. Why do you want the taxpayer to pay for federal workers to go to a building to do work they could do from home? You do realize we're not paying for like the rent in the building in that case. Or you could repurpose a building that you have for other workers that do need to work together. This saves money and helps with employee retention. Again, he's like the evil Dabney Coleman from 9 to 5.
So it was like a gift to a union, and we're going to obviously be in court to stop it. The other thing is...
Yeah, explain why.